Thank you all for coming. Welcome to the Ossining Police Department's 2018 awards ceremony. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by PBA President Joseph Spinelli.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Have a brief, can you remain standing for a brief moment of silence for our fallen officers? Thank you. Be seated.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for coming to our 2018 awards ceremony. Glad to see everybody made it through their traffic to get it here today on 134. This is a really exciting night for me. It's one of my favorite nights of the year because we get to take a chance to step aside and honor all of the good work that our officers have done throughout the year. A lot of what we do goes unnoticed all the time. The day-to-day good stuff we do, we're often telling you about roads closed or an arrest that we've made, but it's not every day we get to tell you about the wonderful work that our officers do. So we're glad to have everybody here today. In addition to our friends that are going to be joining us, we're streaming live on Facebook tonight, so everybody can watch from home, those that couldn't make it. And before we get started, I just want to acknowledge a few of our dignitaries that are here. We have Mayor Garrity from the village. We have, Supervisor Levenberg from the town, and I think we saw Councilwoman Jackie Shaw here somewhere from the town also. Jackie, you here? There we go. Did I miss anybody? Anybody else here? I know a few of them are on our way. We have former trustees and those that have are running for office now and stuff. So glad to see everybody here, so many family members, friends, and neighbors to join with us. So thank you for joining us, and welcome to the ceremony.
Thank you, Chief. On Friday, November 3rd, 2017, officers were dispatched to the Citgo Station, 171 North Highland Avenue, on a reported alarm activation. Upon arrival, officers observed 3 males exit the side door of the establishment and flee on foot. Officers Louis Rinaldi and Rene Mesquita gave chase and quickly apprehended 1 suspect. Sergeant Zimmerman systematically cordoned off the area, resulting in the officers Anthony Oliveri and Joseph Spinelli locating and arresting a 2nd suspect. Detective Jared Hadjisilianos arrived and processed the scene. With the help of DNA evidence left at the scene by the 3rd suspect, he was also identified. This is a great example of patrol officers, supervisors, and detectives all working together. We award these officers with a unit citation. Come up.
Several years ago, our department equipped every member of patrol with Narcan, a medication that reverses the effects of an opioid overdose. The following officers successfully used Narcan in the past year, not only saving the literal lives of the recipients of the Narcan, but hopefully giving them a second chance at living a healthy life as well. Officers Daniel Plachta, Louis Rinaldi, Andrew Provone, Joseph Rinaldi, Anthony Perillo, Joseph Schwartzman, and Emmanuel Anjo. A special mention goes to Sergeant Byrne and Officer Lance, who spearheaded the program that outfitted our officers with this amazing medication.
Good evening. I'm Lieutenant Giorgio. I'm supervisor of detectives, and I'm here this evening to present the Detective Awards. It's always a tough time of year for me to do this because they do so much good stuff throughout the course of the year that to boil it down to one or two is very difficult. They're motivated, they're determined, and they're tireless in their efforts. In the past year alone, they've investigated and arrested individuals for robbery, burglary, fraud, forgery, rape, grand larceny, arson, sex abuse, child abuse, identity theft, felony assault, firearms possession, felony narcotics, and many other misdemeanor offenses. They've worked with the FBI, the ATF, the District Attorney's Office, NYPD, the State Police, and dozens of other police departments inside of Westchester and New York State. They're always professional, and they represent the Ossining Police Department in a positive and respectable manner, and I'm proud to work with them. Just bear with me, this one's a long read, but it's a good one. On a cold February morning, Detective Chavez responded to the scene of a robbery investigation. Upon arrival, Detective Chavez learned that the victim was lured into a vacant apartment where he was met by two male subjects. The two males forcibly stole the victim's cell phone, money, and passport. They then forced the victim to disrobe and tied him up with television cable wire. Once the victim was tied up, the subjects fled from the apartment with the belongings, including the clothing. The victim was left in a vacant apartment overnight until he was able to free himself and jump out of the apartment window. Pardon me a sec. Apartment window where he ran approximately 3 blocks for help while unclothed in freezing cold weather. Detective Chavez processed the scene and began his investigation. Through the investigation, he'd be faced with many hurdles, which required many different investigative techniques and methods. Detective Chavez was able to identify the possible suspects utilizing information gathered from websites, phone records, social media, and the victim's cell phone, which he was able to recover. He worked with detectives from 4 different agencies, as well as assisting them with their investigations and leads. While working closely with another agency, Detective Chavez was able to gather the final pieces of evidence that supported his case and was able to arrest both individuals responsible for this crime. As a result of Detective Chavez's efforts, the 2 individuals will serve a combined 27 years for their actions. While most investigations are difficult and not easy to solve, this one stands out above the others. Every time that I thought Detective Chavez hit a dead end, he was able to develop more information and evidence. He was relentless in his efforts, and therefore has presented the Investigative Award. This one's shorter and more to the point. On March 3rd, 2018, Detectives Joseph Bracero and Jeff Chavez were investigating a stabbing that occurred in Ossining. Their investigation led them to Phelps Memorial Hospital. While at the hospital, the detectives noticed a female that fit the description of a suspect from a previous altercation that took place in Ossining earlier that evening. Detective Bracero attempted to interview the suspect, who immediately became combative and was subsequently taken into custody. An initial pat-down of the suspects revealed a .357 handgun, which was loaded. The investigation resulted in several arrests, but we still have no answers as to why the suspect brought a loaded handgun to the hospital. Due to Detective Bracero and Chavez's keen observation skills, there's one less illegal handgun on the street, and as a result, they are awarded the Meritorious Police Service Award.
Thank you. Just before midnight on October 14, 2017, a civilian notified headquarters that there was a man in the downtown area in possession of a handgun. The civilian would not explain further, but did provide a description. Officer Jason Da Silva immediately canvassed the area and located 4 males. One of the males fit the description given. Officer Da Silva, with the assistance of Sergeant Majorano, attempted to stop and interview these suspects. When one suspect refused to comply, he was detained and a loaded .380 handgun was recovered. Due to Officer Da Silva and Sergeant Majorano's actions, we will never know the suspect's true intentions, but we are grateful another gun is off the street. For this, they are awarded the Meritorious Police Conduct Award.
Good evening. For those of you that don't know me, Lieutenant Jim Montague, Ossining PD, Patrol Lieutenant. And for those of you that know me but may not recognize me, it's a mustache. It's a little change. First of all, I want to thank you guys for attending our ceremony today. It's very important for our officers and for our staff to recognize good deeds and good work. In the academy, we learn a couple of things. We learn a lot of stuff, but there's a couple of things that stand out in my mind for this next award. We learned that discipline and training are 2 words that are interchangeable. And discipline and training are 2 ways that we educate officers. And we educate each other. So when we go out and we're issuing summonses and traffic summonses, we're making car stops and giving warnings, right? Those are 2 ways that we educate the motoring public. Unfortunately, many of them don't want to be educated, but, we get that. So tonight I get to honor one of our most prolific educators okay, so the Mid-Hudson Region's 2017 Stop DWI New York's award for first place DWI officer goes to an officer who has led this department in both DWI arrests and traffic summonses since he joined the force. That's for the past 3 years. Fellow motorcycle officer, Adam Dubray. Come on up, Adam.
Chief.
All right. One of the things we like to do, we like to acknowledge people for not just the individual accomplishments they make, that they have, but also the longevity of being here. So 20 years is like a really special anniversary for us, and since we're loaded with family members today, most of you know why that's so important. For those following from home, it's when we're eligible to collect a pension. So once you make your 20 years, it's sort of a birthday for us, and it's something that we're really proud of. So one of the things we're trying to do these days is acknowledge when people hit their 20, because you join a very special club of people that are here because you choose to, not because you have to. So this year, our 20-year service acknowledgement is going to be for Officer Marvis Renals, who joined us from the city of White Plains and has been with us for many, many years. One of our bilingual officers and a DARE instructor, and just such an integral part of our department. We're really glad to have her and proud to have you, Marvis. Come on up. I thought we did that with you already. I got thrown for a loop. We got 2 of these. So, Also, our other 20-year recipient is also Lieutenant Jeff Giorgio, who joined us in the Mount Vernon Police Department, has been here for a long time, was my training officer when I became a sergeant, has been one of my closest associates while I've been here for when I need to be told, not when I'm doing right, but when I'm doing wrong, which not everybody loves to do. So for that, Jeff, thank you, and congratulations on hitting your 20 years. All right, so this is a new one for this year. While we've done awards, I've always felt like the categories focused a lot on the enforcement aspect of what we do, and me as somebody who spent a lot of time doing all the other stuff, I've always really appreciated that. So one of the things that happens as we hire people, I've always said it's one of the hardest details we have when you hit the administrative level, because we have a very brief period to interview people, and we have to decide who you are, what you're about, and whether you're going to be a good fit for us for, as you see, a very, very long time. So it's an incredibly difficult thing to do, and one of the things that we've really focused on over the past few years, and not just during my tenure, but also with Chief Burton, was we'd ask people, beyond being a police officer and an enforcement, what are your other interests? What else do you bring to the table? Who are you? So we hold a very high standard here in Ossining, and we expect a lot out of people, and it's not just on the enforcement side, but that does count. So today, among the various duties of a police officer are enforcement of laws, protection of our residents, and prevention of dangerous conditions. This police department has a unique culture where officers are expected to consistently find new ways to engage the community and build relationships. This officer, in only 4 and change years, is relatively new to our department, only coming here in 2016. In 2017, she was one of the top 5 in vehicle and traffic enforcement, registered 33 arrests, and had perfect attendance since she's been here. Oftentimes, the most valuable characteristic of an employee can't be quantified in terms of statistics. In this case, it's a deep-rooted sense of responsibility that drives Officer Hershowitz. From her first days in Ossining, she's actively sought opportunities to connect with the community. In 2017, she organized events such as Coffee with a Cop, Movies in the Park, a collection during Domestic Violence Awareness Month to support My Sister's Place, the Cops and Kids series, which included kickball, softball, capture the flag, the Ossining Halloween Spooktacular, or Trunk or Treat as we prefer, and a 5K to benefit disabled veterans. Additionally, she participated in a celebrity cook-off competition at the Atria Hudson, which she really didn't want to do, and played in charity softball games against her will. Her performance would be impressive for a senior employee, but all the more remarkable considering she accomplished this in only 2 years with our department. So we're proud of everything she's done. We look forward to the future. Officer Hershowitz is an asset to our department and to our community, and for that, she gets this year's Chiefs Award. Congratulations.
She left?
She what? She left. She said that was too long of a story, and she's too busy for this. All right, so we'll put a picture of her up later for everybody following from home. I don't know what to tell you.
She was here to learn about the award.
I guess this is what happens in law enforcement. We'll figure it out. Here she comes. You have a certificate?
Our next group of awards are civilians. On February 2nd, 2018, Todd Fiella, who is a resident and also an auxiliary police officer with the Village of Ossining, observed a burgundy Jeep strike 2 parked cars in front of the Ossining Public Library. Auxiliary Fiella noticed immediately that the driver of the vehicle was intoxicated and was attempting to leave the scene. Yes, I'm saying cheese. He also witnessed the driver attempt to bribe another person into taking responsibility for the accident. Auxiliary Fiella relayed all pertinent information to the responding officers, who were able to locate and arrest the operator. Upon further investigation, the suspect was wanted on multiple warrants and a felony warrant out of White Plains. For his actions, Auxiliary Fael is awarded our Civilian Service Award. Thank you, Todd. Mayor Garrity.
Okay. I have never spoken at this occasion before. I'm so grateful that you put this together each year. Every day we're grateful for the incredible service of the Ossining Police Department, but this occasion each year is such an inspirational reminder of all that you do for us and how safe you make our community every day without us even realizing it. Thank you so much to all of you who are in the department. Right now, we're talking about folks in the department as well as folks in the community. And that's part of what makes Ossining so special, is our concern for each other. And when individuals go above and beyond, we like to acknowledge that. I'm so pleased that today we're going to, there's an award that's being given, a civilian award that is actually going to both an officer who was off duty at the time and a civilian who is a friend of mine. He is a community member who has coached baseball for many years, and now both of my sons have had the great privilege of Paul Cozzolino being their baseball coach. And the chief lets us know when there's a big thing going on in the community, an instance like what we're going to watch on this video coming up, because he wants to make sure that we hear about it from the village before we see it on Facebook or on News 12. But this time, before the chief got in touch with us, Paul Facebook messaged me and told me about this incident. And he responded when he saw a car go off the road. And the other person who responded was off-duty officer Ryan Tompkins. And actually, I didn't know Ryan growing up, but we're both transplants from Sleepy Hollow High School. And his dad was a teacher in our district my whole life. So I was really pleased when I moved to Ossining and had the opportunity to be part of the hiring of both of Mr. Tompkins' sons, who are now on our force. And it gives me great pleasure to be able to introduce this award this evening. And we have a brief video here where Officer Tompkins explains what happened that very active morning.
In a watery ravine. Inside.
It was pretty incredible to see a car on its side like that, and there's a little smoke coming out, glass everywhere. I mean, it was completely mangled.
Ossining police officer Ryan Tompkins was off duty Wednesday, just coming home from getting a haircut, when he saw the scene on Route 9A southbound and knew he had to do something.
So I jumped down, I go to the driver's side door, I kind of like pry it open.
Inside the vehicle was 75-year-old Carol Klein, who was on her way to a holiday celebration. 24 hours later, you could still see some of her gift-wrapped presents scattered in the creek below where the car landed. Officer Tompkins managed to pull her to safety before firefighters and ambulances arrived.
She had a couple bruises, she was bleeding a little bit, but other than that, it was a miracle that she was okay.
She's fortunate that a person like Ryan would come by and be able to stop and lend a hand at a time of need.
Police Chief Kevin Sylvester says Officer Tompkins' nickname in the department is Captain America. This humble cop doesn't want anybody calling him a hero.
I didn't want my job. If they were in the same position that I was, they would have done the same thing. I was just at the right place at the right time.
Despite losing a few gifts here, Mrs. Klein can thank that officer's quick actions for not losing her life. In Ossining, Westchester County, Brian Conybeare, CBS 2 News.
So I'd like to welcome Mrs. Officer Ryan Tompkins up to the front so that we may present you with these awards. Thank you so much. And
Like to say a speech? Ryan, would you like to say a few words?
That is not an authorized uniform that he's wearing tonight. But he's coming from SWAT school, so we'll cut him a break today. All right. All right. In May of 2017, Justin Lukeholm's mother suffered from a medical emergency. Justin, 9 years old at the time, knew just what to do. He dialed 911, getting Justin's mom the help she needed and saving the day. For his courage during a scary situation and for doing just what we teach young people to do in an emergency, Justin Lukeholm is awarded the Civilian Service Award Medal. Come on up, Justin. Go up with him for a minute. And if we could have Megan Sacedo, former dispatcher of the Ossining Police Department, who took that call and helped to get help there, we'd love for you to join us for a photo. Okay. We're done with awards. You can sit. All right, so that concludes our awards for tonight, the awards portion. Being a police officer in 2018 isn't easy. Turn on the TV and all too often, there are stories of police officers' actions being questioned. Sometimes the officer's right, sometimes the officer's wrong, but the benefit of the doubt isn't usually in our favor. Many of us bear the burden of these incidents as the volume of negative coverage makes difficult the task of maintaining relationships in our community. Our willingness to be transparent is sometimes questioned, as is our dedication to the community policing philosophy. Anyone who's ever worked for me knows that anybody who's ever worked with me knows that I love to challenge our staff. Today, my challenge is to move through the noise. Do not let the negative remarks, the improper assumptions, or the uninformed comments distract you from your mission. You're some of the finest law enforcement professionals in the business. We've always been the guardians of the community, but today our officers are tasked with so much more. They're challenged to bring with them onto patrol the tactical skills of a warrior, the medical knowledge of a doctor, the understanding of a psychologist, the legal knowledge of an attorney, language skills that allow them to communicate with every member of our community, the empathy of a therapist, and the wit of a stand-up comic. And through it all, we ask them to do it on camera. These officers are tasked with being everything to everyone, and they do it with unparalleled professionalism. I often wonder how others would react if their every waking moment were captured on video. How would you react if faced with a high-stress, critical incident, knowing that any misstep will be captured on video, retained for posterity, and broadcast for the world to review? I suspect that many would be uncomfortable watching the playback as they reflect on their words and actions. But the men and women of the Ossining Police Department perform their duties with grace and professionalism. They embraced body-worn cameras before anybody in the area was willing or able to do so. They participated in implicit bias training and took a deep look at how their personal experiences shaped them as police officers before most others. This is the only law enforcement agency in all of Westchester County that maintains an active civilian complaint review board, and rather than hiding from accountability, our officers embrace this concept as a means of building trust. Each year, our staff finds new and exciting ways to engage the community. They do it with little or no money, and they deliver outstanding results time and time again. The men and women of the Ossining Police Department strive to set the standard for all other law enforcement professionals. Tonight you heard about the achievements of a few of our officers and neighbors. Congratulations to all of our award recipients. They represent a few examples of the outstanding work done every single day by our entire staff. I am never more proud than when I put on this uniform knowing that I have the privilege of working alongside so many amazing people. Thank you for everyone that took the time to join us tonight. Congratulations to our award recipients. To wrap up our ceremony, we want to share with you a video of what the real meaning of Police Week is. This is our chance to reflect on those that lost their lives in the line of duty and made the supreme sacrifice. This video here, saved over the years from the 1941 murder of Officer James Fagan, for whom our building is named, was preserved and upgraded, if you will, by Sergeant Donahue. So this is something we're really proud of, and it's a great experience to watch this and understand why all of this is so important to us. All right, that concludes our ceremony. Congratulations to all of our award winners, and thank you all for coming.
It jumped on me again.